The most important feature is shock, and the impressions arising along with. And the most prominent expression is collapse, or a collapse-like response. This response can even be observed in childhood.
In Veratrum, the collapse is not only at the physical level but also at the mental plane. Mental shock comes from being scolded or from wounded honor. If a school-going child gets scolded by his teacher or parent, and that too in front of guests or in the classroom, he gets profoundly affected and is not able to overcome the feeling for a long time. He feels unfortunate, refuses to eat, and becomes weepy and tearful, +3. This is one response of Veratrum album.
Another response to such a situation is of anger and violence. The child is humiliated and he keeps that in mind. He gets angry and violent. He spits on the faces of people, curses, swears, he shouts, answers back. He is critical and finds faults. He will not respect elders. During anger, the child as well as the adult may shout, shriek and scream, and gets a strong desire to bite and break things.
This feeling of being insulted continues even in adults. In Mercurius, the anger is very intense and so violent that he will break everything including furniture.
Anger is marked with so much violence that he wants to cut and mutilate others, and in reality he even does it.
Mercurius has the capacity to even shoot somebody if he had a gun in his hand during anger. Tissue! The concomitant will be excessive salivation or ulceration.
Staphylos aureus also has a violent syphilitic anger. Staphylos aureus has a tendency to throw whatever comes in his hand during anger. Staphylos aureus suppresses his anger for a long time, and eventually it erupts like a volcano. Once the pent-up matter is discharged, the volcano subsides till more anger builds up, and then he erupts again. Natrum muriaticum also has a short fuse, but after the expression of anger, he feels guilty and feels bad as to why he got upset. Sometimes they feel so much repentance and guilt that they go out of their way to please others. They keep on brooding about it for days, weeks, months, and years.
Another feeling that disturbs him in later life the most is disappointment in love. The feeling and expressions are the same as in childhood. A young girl becomes pale, blue with cold sweats, and collapses after a boy refuses to acknowledge her love. Ignatia develops sighing, disturbed respiration, and emotional disturbances. But in Veratrum, the manifestation is collapse.
At work, if the boss insults, Veratrum will feel weak and collapse from the strain. In such situations, most of the physiological functions of the body increase. For example, they will have increased respiration, cold perspiration, and increased blood pressure. This may be the immediate response if the anger lasts for a short time. For long suppressed anger, he will become critical and will always try to find fault with everybody. If this state continues further, he prefers to be silent, and later he develops malicious thoughts, cooks up false stories, and tries underhand methods to harm other people and their reputation. In spite of this, if he is not able to get over the feeling, he keeps on complaining to his wife. The complaining can go on continuously for day and night.
If this person stays at home, he will keep on finding fault of his wife and keep on fighting. They are kind to strangers, but with his own family members, they are unfeeling and harsh. They can be so inhumane to family members that they drive family members out of the house.
The same story repeats itself at work or professional relationships. They are contemptuous and hard, on subordinates and are agreeable and pleasant to the people who are superior or to people whom they fear.
A similar response is seen in business. Any pecuniary loss or loss of position acts as a shock, and he is never able to recover fully from it. Failure to achieve their target in exams or any other loss of ambition leads to the feeling of disappointment and development of symptoms. Even pleasant surprises like a nice gift or winning a Mercedes car can also lead to shock and collapse. At the physical level, small wounds, surgical procedures, minor problems, post-operative complications can cause total collapse. Pain is something which Veratrum cannot bear. Even a little pain causes a largely exaggerated response.
Veratrum cannot bear pain, loss of fluid, loss of money, loss of ego, and loss of position. As a child, he can never speak the truth, and these habits continue in adulthood. Even a torture chamber will not make him speak the truth. Medorinum and Thuja also make an attempt to lie, but they cannot hide their feelings. In Tarantula and Veratrum, they can lie very easily and fluently.
There are children and adults who will pretend to be sick, and they will pretend it well. Mental retardation is very important. He sits for hours in a stupid manner and does nothing. The other remedy is Baraita carb. The confusion of mind is so marked that mental work is impossible.
They tend to undertake many commitments. Because of confusion, they will not pursue anything.
The child as well as adult have the habit of embracing inanimate objects. They are the adults who hold on to teddy bears or dolls during sleep.
Another characteristic point to be highlighted is contradictory behavior. She wants company and is also averse to company, aggravated when alone, and also there is the desire for solitude. She is courageous and has cowardice. She has erotic insanity and religious insanity. She can be mild or mischievous, mental retardation or highly intellectual. Children show different responses at different times. They bite their own shoes and bite them so hard that they tear off the shoe into small pieces and then they eat them. There is also a state of confusion or mental retardation where the child swallows his own feces. Anxiety is prominent, and they have a habit of biting their nails. Other remedies: Medorinum, Argentum nitricum. He develops anxiety when his position is not lucrative. If the position is shaky, he gets a feeling of losing reason. He feels that he will go mad. Marriage is something which she craves for, as it excites her sexually. The mind is constantly occupied with sexual thoughts. They will do anything for money. They may gamble, be shameless or adulterous. They cannot bear any contradiction, and if they get violent, they behave like mad people. They cut or tear clothes, stamp feet and hurt others. They get irritated, abusive and insulting. She may develop aversion to her own children and may also have homicidal response. She may be ambitious and employing every means possible, and also has the desire to sit still. She is affectionate and also cruel. She is kind to strangers and unkind to family members. Another important point is that he is a big boaster. He desires to be rich. He shows off a lot and talks about himself too much and all the time. He also wishes that he should be considered rich, and at this point the remedy develops a closeness to platina and palladium.
Normally she is a lover of delicacies, has good taste and choice. But during depression she hates food.
She likes delicacies and also has a strong aversion to eat.
As the disease progresses, she develops mental depression and becomes loquacious like hyoscyamus, moschus, stramonium and lachesis. Total loss of appetite or anorexia mentalis, and does not eat at all or eats little for days and months. She sits in a corner and broods. She tries to seek support in religion. She is constantly praying. +3. Another remedy is stramonium and asking for salvation. All negative feelings come to surface and she has no desire, action or will. During the depression phase, they get many suicidal and homicidal thoughts. She develops indifference to everything. During later stages, there is a marked prostration and brain fag. Delirium very intense from pains after hemorrhage. She talks nonsense with eyes open. In delirium, she answers abruptly, comical, erotic, and in a furious way.
She has many delusions, like of cancer. A crime has been committed. She is deaf and dumb. She is eating mud. She sees thieves. That she is ruined. That the world is on fire. That she is conversing with people who are absent. That she is abroad. That she is Christ. That she is in heaven and talking to God. That she is rich. That she is a person of rank. And that she is pregnant.
Women pretend to be pregnant. She pretends to the level of complaining of labor pains and claims to have delivered a blue-eyed baby.
She feels that she is in constant touch and communication with God. She dreams as if she has been bitten by dogs. A marked physical concomitant is cold perspiration on forehead with all complaints, cold spots on the skin, especially on the face. The tip of the nose is icy cold, dark rings around the eyes.
Skin blue with cold sweat. Coughs when goes to cold air from a warm room.
Stomach, voracious appetite, a thirst for cold water, vomiting as soon as swallowed.
Rectum constipated, strains a lot. Craving fruits, cold juicy things, ice and salt.
Aggravations, drinking, aggravated by pride, wounded honor, exertion, pain, +3, mental exertion, night, touch, pressure, slight wound, causes fainting. Amelioration, eating meat, warm covering, walking about. Other remedies: ferrum, nicolum, sepia, hot drinks, milk, sitting, lying, pressure on vertex.
It is an important remedy for children, old age, people with gay disposition, ladies who are anemic, and slight wound leads to fainting.